call this case the monolith.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of a certain
family of 4 in here.
Yeah, it reminds me of a certain thing in a certain science fiction movie.
And Couch 2 over here, too.
Yeah. Yeah, got to make sure it has appropriate. Oh, look. Yeah, look at that.
Oh, there's something you don't see every day.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep.
Factory black.
Yep. It's a killer.
Long guard.
Yeah.
59.
Long guard that warped into a deadly barb. I had to get my friend, Mr. Gaffer, to kind of take the danger factor out of there. But because I did that, it's pissed a lot of people off. Cesar seemed to be the only one who understood why I did this. God bless him. But yeah, this is a factory black ES-335. There's a famous picture from 1959 of the NAMM show in Chicago, and there's a flying V in the picture, a Les Paul, and right behind him is this guitar sitting in the background, and it's a killer. I've always wanted a black 335 ever since I saw Keith's black 345, and I suspect that this is the guitar that Keith's been looking for all his life. And it's interesting because when you see it inside, they wrote 345, ES-345, and then went back and wrote 335. I think it's one of maybe 2 or 3.
I know of one other that I know is
Tom Petty had one, right?
sure legit.
Tom,
I'm not sure if he had a black or not.
mm-hmm.
I never saw it if he did.
Yeah.
I know one other guy that's got him verified,
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird. I actually want to check.
Mm-hmm.
No, because his is funny. It has a second orange label underneath the top, and it just says black.
You want it?
Super rad.
Wow.
But this, you got the T on there too. It's just, that's original factory black 355. That's rarer than a Carina V. That's rarer than a Carina Explorer. Way rarer than a Burst.
Yep. It's one of my favorite guitars, and it doesn't feed back. It does not feed back. I've played it on stage, full fucking volume, hitting tremendous power chords, super full, super tony, no feedback. And it holds up, man. Great rhythm sound, great lead sound, great clean sound. Acoustically, you can't go wrong with a 335.
Well, this do at stadium volumes on stage. Sounds is just it's the ringing.
It sounds so big. I mean, it is so big and full. It sounds like 2 guitars, really. When I first got it, there wasn't as much yellowing as there is now. And I only think it's gotten more yellowing because it's seen more time out of the case. And you can tell I played it on stage because it has sweat stains all over it.
No.
It's just kind of like a telltale thing for me. When I really, really think about it, and I'm really honest with myself, it's probably my second best sounding guitar.
Of everything we've seen, and we've seen some shit today. This is probably my favorite of everything we look at.
I don't really want it to be my second best sounding guitar, but it is. It is. Yeah.
Watermelon is my favorite shade of cherry. There's a song title in there
Right there
somewhere. Tell me what we're looking at here.
This is a 1959 335 patent applied for us, obviously, and it's very rare because all of the 335s up until 60, 61 were sunburst.
Or it's occasionally blonde.
Right.
You're only 2.
Right.
And
then towards the end of 59, they were experimenting with different colors.
Yeah.
And that's when this came out. But I don't think There's very many melon ones.
It's really kind of a 59 and early 60 thing, and the cherry kind of got refined to what it became by midway through 60. But I don't know how it's reading on camera. This is not even checked. This is like one of the mintest 59 dot necks I've ever seen. It's crazy.
It's beautiful.
When does a 335 come out? When do you need semi-hollow?
Most of the time.
Is it a weight thing? Is it a tone thing?
No,
Is
it's purely this one is beautiful feel. I've often said, once I got the 64 first, which is the Freddie King.
Yeah.
And the difference is the 64 again is brighter and heavier. This is lighter and more a much warmer sound to it. They could be built on the same day by the same luthier.
This one down the line.
And they sound completely different, because of the wood, the grain, the whatever, the pickups, whatever. I've often said that, if I was asked, okay, you can only have one guitar, what would you have? It would be a 335.
Just does it all.
I mean, I used this specific one on our blues album, All Blues, nearly, and on the instrumental album, Frampton Forgets the Words.
Where did this one come from?
This came from Mr. Gary Dick.
Gary's Classic Guitars.
Gary's Classic Guitars, yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, he lived way too close to me in Cincinnati. That was the problem. So, yeah, this one was expensive.
Well, look at it, man. I mean, come on. The color and the condition.
I know.
But it was worth it.
But he had it right by the door as I walked in, and he knew that I loved 335s. So he put it out specially just to,
Yeah, that's killer.
But it's one of my all-time favorites, this one.
Killer guitar.
Oh, that's my favorite spec of the ES-335. What is this, 63, 64?
64.
64. That is my, here, grab that. That is my favorite feature set for an ES-335 right there. Tell me about this. Where'd it come from?
This one came from Louisville, Kentucky. A one-owner guitar. Guy's grandpa. Sat down and played it a lot. Right there's a nice little wear on his leg, and he just wore GC and D out.
Yeah.
And so when I got it, it was just thrashed.
You can see it on the board.
Yeah. And it looked like it had been outside in a barn when I got it. It was really dirty, and looked down in there at the sticker, and the guy who cleaned it up said, how was he able to get that bird to shit in the F-hole like that?
Well, that's where the tone comes from, though. The tone's in the bird shit,
So this one is sounds exactly like you think it would.
Yeah, cleaned up nice, too. It's still nice and cheer. Now, these are not factory brads for the custom-made plaque, but it seems like it's holding it down all right.
Yeah, it started to roll, you can see, probably from being outside in the barn.
In the barn. I'm taking there was also not in the case either.
Somebody, let me show you in here.
Oh, the neck, dude. It's gone. I love that.
In here we have
curly cable.
the cable, but this is my favorite part, is the bill of sale.
Oh, original receipts. Where'd you get it?
Dodd Music Center in Covington, Kentucky.
$300
$300
even. 55. Was that for the case?
I think so.
330.
Extra for the Bigsby. 55 for the
That was the markup for the Bigsby.
Yeah.
$330 for the guitar and the case. Man, we're from the wrong era,
12 payments at $28 a month.
Take that, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
$28 a month?
Yeah.
Beat that. When do the 335s or the ES guitars replace the juniors? When do these come out for you? Because I see you play them a lot.
Yeah. My friend Ray, he gave me a custom shop 345 as a birthday gift, that's number 2 extravagant gift.
Yeah.
I started playing that guitar on a few different songs, and even wrote a couple of songs with that sort of feel.
Yeah.
And then so it was when this one became available or came into my life, I thought, well, got to have more of those too. They do a thing.
They definitely do a thing. When do you go for humbuckers? I mean, you got so many, so between the juniors and the Esquires and everything, it's a lot of single coil pickups. What makes you reach for a humbucker guitar?
It'll just be the song. There's a song we have called Waiting for the Thunder that is a hollow body song.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel right on a junior. So
With humbuckers as opposed to P90s. Is there a reason to go either way for that too?
well, that particular song, Waiting for the Thunder, has a humbucker lead, and it just has a little more, a little brighter snarl to it. And
yeah,
I really had a good time on our summer tour last year. We were out with the Allman Betts band, and Dwayne Betts, he was playing 64 335 that Dickie Betts owned, and I was playing this, and it felt pretty pimp to be playing too.
the original 64s.
Especially since he was playing Dickie Betts's.
Yeah, killer. God, I love those. One of those is in my future at some point. I don't know if I'll get the bird shit in the F-hole or not.
I mean,
If I'm so lucky.
I'm hoping you do.
Yeah, I am too. That's where the tone is.
This one, might be, if I had to have one guitar to take and go try to make a career out of, and it was electric guitar, I think it would be probably this one.
Based on the case, I'm going to assume this thing has seen some road.
Yeah, this one's been on the road for quite a few years with me. This was the first really good golden era vintage electric guitar that I got. And it's just a wonderful...
Oh, yeah. Dot neck.
That's a great guitar, man. And you can play... Obviously, you can play the blues on it, but you can get super heavy. You can rock really well with that. It's a 61
We got that neck.
335.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect, isn't it?
That's the neck.
It's just right. And it's another one that you can tell it's been played, but it hasn't been abused.
Man, yeah, condition is great.
Mm-hmm.
A little crazy on the checking, but
Yeah.
you were tying this one. This one's got some pedigree.
Yes, this one
Previous
belonged to... I got it from Dave Cobb. We were making a record, and Dave was like, you have to come take this 335 and plug it into a Marshall. And he had the Tone Bender 1.5. And so he's like, we got to turn everything all the way up. And then you just put on the neck pickup and you turn the volume down to about 6 and you hear the clean tone,
Yeah.
And so, of course, I did that. And it was murderously loud and kind of the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. And I said, Dave, how much would you want for that guitar? And Dave gave me a price which was extremely reasonable.
Yeah.
And I think probably because he didn't think that I was going to immediately go get the money, because at that time I wasn't selling a whole awful lot of records. And so it was a big leap for me to get this guitar. But I went and got the cash and I took it and gave it to Dave. And my wife has a picture of me and Dave right after he sold it to me. And I'm like ear to ear smiling. Dave's just going, he's so upset. But he immediately went and bought a 1960 335 that's very similar, also a really good one. But this one's just got something special, man. It's just when I got it, the bridge pickup had been demagnetized a bit. I don't know if somebody put it in front of a car battery or leaned it up against a big speaker or something.
Yeah.
But my buddy Gary Bohannon, who was working at Carter at the time, and Gary said, I got a box of those. And he apparently had a sealed box of magnets from PAFs from like 1959. And he said, I'll just test these out and give you the best one. So he just slid that magnet in and popped the new old stock.
Ain't Nashville the best,
It's
man?
the best. It's the only town in the world where any boxes. The first person you call.
As a box of vintage 59 PAF.
PAF magnets, yeah. So that's what it's got in the bridge.
Was this your first PAF vintage Gibson?
Yes, it was. And I was terrified. And I did what I usually do to the Gibsons, as I'll replace the ABR, so it doesn't buckle while I have it. And then I'll replace the stop tail in case I want to top wrap, don't want to scratch it up. So I'll take those and seal them and put them away. And then these, Repro, I take the originals and seal them up because...
Originals were still there when you got it? They hadn't crumbled yet? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they were crumbly.
They were on there.
A couple of them were halfway off, and they all look like dead man's toes,
Mummified.
Yeah, so that's it. Everything that can be, you can undo that if you ever want to sell it, but I don't think I'll ever get rid of this guitar. Cause
this one's come with you everywhere, right?
Yeah, it goes on the road every tour. I've used it all over the records, and, it does everything you want an electric guitar to do. I mean, you can get some real character out of it. The middle position is just beautiful. It's round and sparkly, and it can rock, man.
This, do 59? 59, well spotted, yeah.
Long guard.
Tom talked me into buying this. We were in Washington, D.C., and we went to a guitar store, one of the main stores there. I don't know the name of it now. And we were looking around, and I didn't have a I think I had a red 335, but it wasn't vintage. It was mid-70s. It was pretty good. And he saw this up on the wall, and he said, you should get that 59 335. That's a real good one. And I played it, and I thought, oh, that's okay, you know. And I said, oh, what's with this? You know, there's these 2 dots on it. And I guess what they did, I guess at the factory maybe, they would sometimes take the bridge off, fill it, and put a Bigsby on it.
Sometimes you see the custom-made plaque. Sometimes you just see exposed studs.
But I thought somebody had fucked with it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know. And Tom said, no, that's the way they are. So I got it.
So the Bigsby was already on it.
Yeah, it was there, just like it is now.
Now I'm noticing there's a small little, is that a zip tie? Just keeping the spring from...
Maybe the spring just
keeping the spring
around
from
and keep it
popping out.
popping. It probably popped out on me once, and he put that in there to keep it from bouncing out.
Now, we were talking about the Les Pauls earlier and how big and that sound is. What do you go to a 335 for?
Well, a 335 is not something I use a lot, but when I do, I'm going for more of a B.B. King type tone, like not quite as thick as a Les Paul, but really sweet. It's interesting you would say that because Tom and I sat in with J.J. Cale once at McCabe's, and I had my 59. It was local, so I brought it down, and I thought J.J. would cream over it, you know. And Tom had a 335, so I was showing J.J. my 59, and he was, yeah. And Tom took out his 335, J.J. goes, that's the one. That's what I like. That's what I grew up on. I used to have a 335 just like that. So he was enamored with the 335. It's got a sweeter middle position, almost cleaner, and good for rhythm, and a really like warm pickup. But it'll also blast off the treble pickup, and I like this very nice fluid Bigsby. Some of them are tight or too loose. This one's really good. I love recording with it because mostly I like it if I want something that's like loud but still clear, like a B.B. Kingish tone that you can hear the melody and hear all the notes really clearly. Yeah. I go to this. Yeah. And I remember once I did a session for J.J. Cale with Eric Clapton, and I was also showing him my 59, and he goes, "Oh, our beautiful neck." He said, "I'm a 335 guy." He called it the 335. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's true, but that's what he said. But they're beautiful instruments, you know. And of course, they're hollow, semi-hollow, so they have a nice kind of acoustic feel to them, and just gorgeous. You know, what a design! Yeah, beautiful wood, beautiful colors, and easy to play. Just, you know, the neck is really just glides along. Yeah. I always love this too. What do you call that?
Call it either the crown or the pineapple.
The pineapple or the crown. I'll call it the crown. And these ivory tuners. And yeah. Gibson. Yeah.
You don't strike me as a big ES guy.
No,
I'd hardly ever see you with them, but
not
you
not
obviously
often.
have them.
Yeah, there's always feedback in the wrong way for me. I like feedback with not the kind where I can't control it, or they sound light.
Yeah.
So, whoa, look at this.
Oh, it's black.
A black 335 dot neck.
Short guard. So what, like a 61?
Uh-huh.
Oh, rad.
Oh.
That's cool. Grovered.
Yeah, Grover with Starr. Isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Patent pending. Those are old too.
Yeah.
And were the cream rings on it when you got it?
Yes, it was. Yes, they were.
So this is a condition you found it in. Where did this thing come from?
I got that in Texas. Jeez, what year would that have been? 79?
Yeah.
79, somewhere around then.
I've only seen 2, I think, black dot
See, I
necks.
saw the one that Chicago Music had, or Sammy, or Reverb. I'm not sure. I saw it because I saw the log for it too.
Yeah.
You have that?
The ledger thing for it? Yeah, but the only problem is a lot of them, the 2 that I've seen were both 59s, which still haven't found that ledger yet. Still waiting for someone to return that. 61, it would be on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a live guitar for you?
No, I haven't mastered how to. I haven't worked at it actually to get it to sound right.
Yeah.
I like core stuff. If I can get the feedback I want to have, I can get it right away. If I don't have to work on it, because
No.
Like, I haven't tuned a guitar in 40 years. One, that's enough.
You're going to start working now?
Yeah.
Come on. But that's a cool guitar. Awesome.
I guess we'll start with this one here. Anything before we open the case?
This one is special for many reasons. One is because this is the guitar that my wife got me for my 40th. And
I know what this is, yeah.
And the second reason why it's special is because it's the first guitar that I bought from you.
This is how we met.
This is how we met.
All right, let's crack it open. Oh, yeah. Cherry red. Refresh my memory here.
So 1964, 335, TDC, block inlay, 59 neck. Remember that's back in 1964. And it's not that far in terms of serials from Clapton's Crossroads.
Yeah.
So this is it. That's the 64 335, first one I bought from you. And
You saw it on Guitar of the Day.
yeah, I actually was watching your Guitar of the Days for a while before that, and then when you finally you popped this one, and you were, I remember, if I remember correctly on that video, you were like, boom, this is the Clapton guitar.
Yeah.
So I called you immediately, and we were like, that's mine.
Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We took scans of this guitar when we started to do the new historic custom shop ESs.
This is the model through the scans and creating the digital image, the 3D image for the custom shop historic collection 64.
The 64. Do you have one of those?
That's the one. And
of course you do.
most importantly, the reason why I have it is because I wanted a replica so that if anybody wants to use it, any one of our artists wants to use a 64, I always have a custom shop 64 that they can use. And then if I want to take one out, this one can stay here and I can take this one out.
Yeah.
So this is number one of the 64
Reissue.
historic collection. Yeah.
So you can justify owning some of this stuff. Yeah, nice. So all the contours on the top, the neck profile, everything for that guitar and everyone after it all came.
Anyone that has a custom shop, new historic collection, 1964 335 is modeled after mine.
Is a clone of this. Rad.
These are great guitars. And I've really, really been using these for almost my entire professional life. Gibson 335. This one here being from 1961. And this is a pretty preserved model.
That's red.
So this is what they would call a cherry dot neck 335. Short guard, reflector knobs in cherry. And it's pretty preserved. And I got this from my friend John at True Vintage. And we were kind of scared to ship it, so he drove it up here to Nashville. These are good sounding guitars because of the nature of having the block inside and then the F-holes. And they're known as, the burst killers in the sense that they sound amazing, and probably more of your favorite records have been made on one of these than on a Les Paul.
The 335 is on the road. Always something in the rack, right?
Always something, always a 335. I love playing the blues on a 335. It just gives me that B.B. King look, And it also blooms like this. It sounds authentic to me. It just blooms and it has that feedback. And there are some nights, depending on the stage, because I don't use effects, sometimes they'll feedback and you'll be like, oh, what a drag. And then some nights it's perfect.
Just the
and you want to just bottle that, and you could hold a note for, you could do the Nigel Tufnell thing all day. So this is a nice example.
That's killer.
Black case.
Clean black case.
Clean black case. Now I have a pair on the road, two red ones. I have a red dot marker and I have one of these, a red block marker. And every time I've been lucky enough to play the Royal Albert Hall, except for the first time, I've had one of these with me. And we always sound check Crossroads.
Yeah.
And there's something about the Albert Hall and that reverb and this guitar
and my just absolute love of Eric Clapton and his music and the legacy and everything that just makes me feel like the luckiest SOB on the planet. This is a 1963. I believe Eric's was a 1964. Little slightly different neck shape. 64 is a little bit bigger. I've actually played Eric's guitar, and his neck is not huge, so it's not that typical 64 kind of handful of neck. It's more closer to this. And this is a very cool example. It came out of Atlanta, and it has probably the gnarliest bridge pickup I've ever heard.
Just a screamer.
It just has that extra 5%. And they're patent numbers. So
Who cares?
proving that you don't, some people have bionic vision, and they can see through the nickel, through the coils, through the copper wire, and all the magnets and the base plate, and they can see this little black sticker underneath. It's not the same. It doesn't sound the same until you plug it in. They kind of sound pretty close. So there you go. Dot in a block.